What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are concluding our journey of Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Rebellion. Last time, Ko was arrested on Earth for suspicion of helping the enemy after helping Gato flee. The colony hit the Earth, and the Axis fleet fled back to Axis. Ko and Keith are now working in North America as test pilots for the new Hyzax. Ko and Nina, however, didn't have a happy ending. Also, Alice Miller made the face that Ko made in the anime. This time, we are now in Universal Century 0084. Moncha, Alpha, and Chap help suppress the colony Amaterasu, which the Titans plan on taking from Side 3. During this mission, Moncha will meet the enemy and learn to move on from Lieutenant Burning's death. So let's get into this. Universal Century 0084. Moncha, Alpha, and Chap visit Lieutenant Burning's grave. Burning's mantra was to leave your hate out of the battlefield. Moncha says that they aren't going to be able to live up to this, as all they have is hate in their hearts now. They are about to go down a dark path. All three of them are now lieutenants instead of lieutenant junior grade. Last time, I said they were on a Dogo Skiar ship, but they are actually on an Alexandria-class ship. Ivan Pasarov, the helmsman, talks to the three about filing a complaint regarding the death of Synapse, but they don't seem to care. They are only concerned about getting revenge for Burning. They head to the meeting room to find everyone else who is a part of this joint operation. Amongst them are Agar and Ford Romefellow. These two piloted Unit 5 and Unit 6 during the 1-year war and are a part of the video game Zeonic Front and the side story Encounters in Space. The two will make up Delta Team. They also meet Devos on the Gamma Team. The Immortal 4th is the Beta Team. They are briefed on the mission. There is a section near Kompe Island called the Solomon Corridor, which is a debris field inside of an electromagnetic disturbance. It is here that one of their supply ships was attacked by Zeon remnants. The supplies happen to be the new Hyzax. They are to suss out any Zeon remnants, which is what the word quell means in French, so I assume this is where the GM quell comes from. The Immortal 3 wait on standby when out come their 4th, Lieutenant Burning. They are then transported back to the 1-year war. The first time they were in the Solomon Corridor during the Battle of Solomon. They present this as though they don't know how they got here. So this is an isekai now. Except it's an isekai where you go back to your own shitty past. Fun. They prepare for launch on their old Salamis ship, El Paso. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, Moncha knows that Gato was at this battle. A woman named Francois pops up on Moncha's monitor. She will accept his date if he comes back safely, but he knows how it plays out, and it doesn't end well for Francois or El Paso crew. A Teve-class ship and Musai approach. He tries to warn Francois about the upcoming trap before launching. A GM Intercept Custom is handling business when out of nowhere comes a green and blue Dom, which stabs the GM Intercept Custom. It is Gato. Moncha wants to take out Gato, but Alpha tells him to accept the fate of the past. But he isn't having any of that. Burning tells him to be careful of mines in the area. Gato meets up with the Zaku-1 piloting a Skier. The Skier fires flash rounds right into the center of the EFF fleet. The light seems to attract the mines that Burning mentioned. They converge on the fleet, destroying all the Federation ships and Francois. However, out of the explosion comes El Paso. Francois listened to Moncha. Gato's Dom attacks El Paso. He rushes Gato, shooting rockets. He gets in close and is able to stab through the Dom's torso. An explosion goes off, taking them both out. Moncha wakes up in the white void of contemplation, or whatever that place is in Full Metal Alchemist. It was all a dream. Burning and Francois are there telling him that he needs to move on from the past and remember them for who they are. He can't bring them into the future. Alpha wakes him up. They got word that they spotted Zeon remnants and are prepping for launch. Chap says he was only passed out for about 10 seconds there. The team launches. Ford spots an old industrial satellite used for resource mining. Meanwhile, in Side 3, colony representatives get together to discuss what to do with the colony Amaterasu. The Titans want to claim the colony as their own for the colony drop. Amaterasu representative Faldi Amato knows that the Republic of Zeon has already made a deal with the Titans outside of these chambers. She wonders if the representatives have heard the rumors that Anival Gato is still alive. At the resource mining colony, they spot a Hyzax. The Immortal 4th chases to find a Gelgoog R. The MS-14R Gelgoog High Mobility Assault Type is a Gelgoog modified by a certain person from Amaterasu and used by someone claiming to be Gato. This version has 2 extra propellants. Like the Ifrit Nacht, this unit uses a cold blade instead of the typical Heat Hawk. This allows it to avoid heat detection, and it also has an anti-beam coating. Similarly, it has a cold kunai. Other weapons include a 3-barrel 35mm Gatling gun, a long-range beam rifle, a 110mm machine cannon used by the Gelgoog Marine, and a shield with the Delaz fleet logo. It has the blue and green colors. They think it is Gato. He sends out a communication to everyone in the area proclaiming to be Annabelle Gato, and they were responsible for the colony drop on North America. Monsha, remembering his dream, doesn't rush in. Ford, however, does rush in. That is when Hyzaks come in and support. Monsha is pinned down by a Hyzak. He uses his Vulcans when Gamma Team comes in, firing on both Monsha and the Hyzak. The Hyzak goes down. The Alexandria pulls back because something doesn't seem right. They tell the rest of the fleet to pull back as well. Like in the past, this Gato uses the mines in the area to take out some of the fleet before pulling back. What the hell is that ship? Side 7, Green Oasis. Bass gets word of Gato still being alive. Jamaicon is negotiating with Faldi Amato in regards to the colony. She says that they believe the Titans may be responsible for the colony drop, and if so, they would have to denounce all association with them. Jamaicon says, cool. So, I'm gonna go outside, and I'm gonna start shooting citizens until you give us this colony. The fleet allowed the Alexandria, the Algiza, to chase Gato's ship as they were the only ones that didn't suffer any damage. They chase him back to Side 3. The Algiza sends out the Immortal 4th to help do damage control over at Amaterasu. They head to the colony to find other Titans slaughtering colony citizens. Faldi Amato tries to get her people to stand down who are protesting and dying. Jamaicon learns that Faldi succeeded her father as the colony leader after her brother died during the 1-year war. Prime Minister Darcia Baccaro is meeting with the Republic of Zeon higher-ups. How long has this guy been Prime Minister? They don't want to allow the Titans to take what is rightfully theirs. Darcia is playing the victim and claiming that the zombies manipulated him during the 1-year war, and he won't allow his people to blindly go to war once again. Gato is also a part of this meeting via Microsoft Teams. He doesn't seem like a Zoom guy. Faldi is able to calm the people and get them to throw down their arms. But one group says, "F that," and fires a rocket launcher, causing the chaos to ensue once again. While fighting, Monsha sees Faldi fall from the chaos. He grabs her and his Jim Quell falls into a hole. Gato tells the Republic that his autonomous fleet, the Delaz fleet, will retake the colony. Alpha gets hit by a colony container. That is when Gato's mobile suit forces enter the colony. Jamaicon and the Titans activate the colony thrusters and prepare for transfer to Side 7. There are Republic forces on standby outside of Side 3. Gato rallies the Republic forces to help take back the colony. A part of the Gamma team that shot Monsha is Devos Roa. He seems to be trying to kill Monsha and the Beta team. Underground, Monsha helps Faldi by carrying her. His mobile suit is useless. They need to get out of there before the colony support system shut off. Gato takes off in his Gelgoog R and enters the colony. He says he is home, which might give you a hint of who he really is. We flash back to the past where Juzo Amato is training a younger Gato. During their training, Juzo's daughter Faldi Amato and her brother eavesdrop. You can make the assumption that Gato was from Amaterasu from this flashback. Faldi tells Monsha that his father built secret tunnels during the 1-year war, as they expected a battle on the home front. In other words, she's completely lost. Suddenly, a mobile suit taxis through the tunnels. Monsha notices that it is Gato, but Faldi notes that the mobile suit used to belong to her father. Gato sends a message to the Titans. He says if the Federation doesn't cooperate with the team and leave, they will just take the colony and drop a 3rd colony on the planet. Monsha says that he has a vendetta against Gato for burning. Faldi says that her brother died during the 1-year war, but she doesn't hold any grudges and says that they must break the chains of hate. Gato and Jamaicon try to negotiate, which is essentially the two going, "Why don't you f*** off? No, why don't you f*** off?" Also, I think that's Captain Gaddy in the background of Jamaicon. Faldi mentions that this colony is a closed colony with an artificial sun that produces grain. The Titans probably wanted to weaken Zeon by taking this as a response to the colony drop, but they also seem to want it for other purposes. They make it to the hangar where they find a Gelgoog. Monsha tells Faldi to go to her allies. He will find a way out on his own. As she goes to get help, a beam blast hits the hangar, sucking everything out into space. Monsha puts his helmet on and jumps into the Gelgoog. He goes out into space to rescue Faldi. That is when he runs into Devos and the Gamma team. He gets into contact with him and tells him that he is Monsha. But Devos is like, "I don't know, man. It looks like an enemy Gelgoog to me. If I kill you, my report will just say I killed the enemy. So I'm just gonna kill you." He takes off as he has Faldi in his hand. He tells her to hold on as she is about to take a lot of G's to the face. Gato's forces take control of the colony control center and stop the rotation of the colony. The gravity slowly goes away. Monsha decides to hide from Devos inside the colony. He sends a transmission to Chap and Alpha, but this gets the attention of Devos. As the two fight, Gato's Gelgoog comes in to help. He takes out the Gamma team and disables Devos' mobile suit. Monsha says if he gets in his way again, he will kill him. But that threat doesn't matter, as Gato comes in and kills Devos. He wonders why a Xeon mobile suit is sending Federation identification codes. The two engage in battle. Faldi was placed down and is watching from afar on the outside of the colony. She floats out to try to stop the two from fighting. Yeah, that's a smart move. This actually stops Gato from fighting? What? And he tells Faldi to go to the colony control room. She says his voice is familiar. Meanwhile, at Luna 2, Alice Miller is talking to Bask. He wants confirmation on Gato's death. The report says it isn't confirmed if he is alive or dead, but Miller doesn't think this man is the real Gato. Alpha and Chap are being overran when they notice a Gelgoog fighting with its own troops. It must be Monsha. The Xeon remnants bail from the mobile suits and run away. Faldi heads to the colony control room where she meets Gato's captain, who happens to be an old family friend. It seems her father told him to search for her brother, whom he thought was alive. They eventually found him, and he suffered memory loss. It was only when he saw Gato on television that he was able to regain his memories. I'm sure many of you have figured it out, but it took Faldi a very long time to realize that Gato is her brother, Kaito. She mentions that only the Yamato family can access a certain part of Amaterasu. But if her brother is alive, that means Gato's forces have access to it as well. Kaito flashes back to UC-0079. He and his sister meet up with Gato. He looks up to him and even copies his mannerisms. Kaito is heading to the front lines, while Gato is heading to Solomon. He is joining the army against his father's wishes, but promises to return from Earth alive. The commander says that when they were on Earth, they saw the colony drop. His team went into action to try to find Gato's escape pod. However, they found an empty pod. In the rubble, Kaito was able to find Gato's helmet. It is possible that the real Gato is still alive. Their logo started as graffiti by remnants, but soon was adopted as the logo for the Neo-Delaz fleet. The two marks represent the two colony drops, and they are not afraid to add a third. Faldi says that this isn't going to stop the hatred and wants to talk to her brother. But the commander tells her that this plan was actually enacted by her father before his death. Jamaican's team crunches the numbers, and even if they capture the colony now, they won't have enough fuel to make it to Side 7. He unfortunately still has to rely on Bask's help. He will try to capture Gato to make up for it. The Alexandria acquired one of the Hyzaks, but there is a lot of damage. They don't have anything else to work with, so Monsha is going out in this new mobile suit. I mean state-of-the-art mobile suit, because this suit is tore up. Luna 2's orbital fleet is making a defense line between the colony and the Earth. Alice Miller is on board and knows that this colony drop will fail, and wonders what is their end game. Kaito's end goal isn't Earth, but rather Granada. Granada is where mobile suit production for the Hyzak is being done. They are going to cripple their new mobile suits. The Hyzak is kind of a fusion of a Jim and a Zaku, so they see this mobile suit as an insult to Xeon. Faldi says that Gato would attack Earth, but would never attack Granada, which is Xeon leaning. The commander, whose name is Giskel, takes her to an escape pod to flee to Side 3. The colony's artificial sun is turned off, and the auxiliary thrusters protrude from the butt of the colony. They take Faldi to the shuttle, but she escapes and takes a different shuttle to find her brother. But she gets caught up in the battle. She happens to be saved once again by Monsha in a Hyzak. She needs to get inside the colony to stop it. Monsha, Chap, and Alpha go into action. The colony's acceleration begins increasing. The team is struggling to keep up with the colony, so they split up. The Alexandria is also struggling to tail the colony as it increases. Monsha enters to find the Gelgugar. Faldi calls out to her brother and tells her not to drop the colony on Granada. He says that Kaito is dead. Faldi needs to head back to the colony control system. Her and Monsha say their goodbyes. As she leaves the mobile suit, Kaito fires on her, but Monsha blocks the attack. He has no qualms with killing his sister. The two engage in battle. Kaito uses the cold blade and takes out Monsha's beam rifle and right arm. Faldi is going to self-destruct the colony. She activates the detonation of the nuclear reactors. Moncha and the team only have a 20-minute window before things go up in flames. He still has to finish this fight with Kaito. The two charge at one another with their melee weapons. Kaito stabs him in the arm and shoulder, but Moncha actually strikes down on the Gelgoog's shoulder and part of the torso. After tearing through the mobile suit, he makes his escape. Kaito gets out of the suit to find one of his subordinates. Throughout this volume, this guy has been way too into Gato's cause. Now that he knows that Kaito is not Gato, he is furious. Kaito says that he is Gato, but his subordinate shoots him. The Immortal Fourth flees the colony as it goes off. Alpha picked up Faldi, so she is safe. Later, after giving his report, Miller has questions for Moncha. She wonders why he wrote that he was the real Gato in his report, when she believes that he doesn't believe that. Miller says that she asked Ko while she was on Earth, and he believes that Gato is indeed fake. He isn't telling Miller about Kaito and Faldi. Hey, he's just doing the exact same thing that Ko did with Gato. She says that it was a shame about Devos, but they need to be careful and perhaps even quit the military, subtly insinuating that the Federation will constantly be trying to kill them now. Moncha says that the Immortal Fourth will continue piloting mobile suits until the day they die. He gets word that Faldi is rebuilding her farm colony on an old Side 3 colony. He pretends not to care, but Alpha and Chap can tell that he liked her. The Immortal Fourth heads out on their next mission. And that will conclude our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Rebellion. What an amazing story. I understand why so many of you want this version animated. With the exception of the ending, the OVA doesn't feel rushed. But in hindsight, after reading the manga, there was so much more story to tell. Ko would have ended up in jail for the rest of his life if it wasn't for a technicality. Although Moncha had his "I don't think the Titans are good guys" moment, it seems he is ready to head down a dark path. Sure, he learned to leave the past behind, but that isn't going to change his fascist future. Now that this is completed, we can finally continue our coverage of Zeta Defined. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, you can't change the past. Or can you? Peace.